Well, howdy everyone, Cowy, your average sim racer here. We are back for round 9 of the Gen 3 Supercars Season 2 2025. As always, I'm in the Chevy Camaro. Oh. And we are at Daytona under lights for round 9.
Cold tires all around.
Now, it is quite an interesting track. I've always liked Daytona. Now, with the 24 hour, I know a lot of sim racers are quite familiar with this track. And the Gen 3 car, though, it's well, as you can see there, it's not quite the same as the Gen 2 around here, or even the GT3 cars. You're sort of braking a bit earlier than you would think. Though some of the brake markers are about the same, but it's going to all come down to how much speed you're carrying in a lot of these sections here. Now, it is a 21% chance of rain on the Australian server this week, so there will be a wet portion of this track guide. And I must say, I actually recorded it before this version, but I wanted to start with the dry, so you've got an idea of the brake markers and you know, all of the references before you go out and sort of have a go in the wet. But I must say, the wet, at night, it's really hard to see those puddles, so it's going to be quite interesting. Alright, now starting off the lap here, we're going to go nice and high and try and slingshot down and see if we can find an extra K or two. And again, it's probably really important you make sure you maximise that exit out of the bus stop back there, because all of it correlates to the first straight. Alright, we're looking to brake about a car length or two before the grass ends up here. Try to brake in a straight line. And then you're looking to try and stay over to the left, because you really want to straight line this section here. Get up on that curb. Be careful with the inside one, and brake it at about 110, or just before, about 10 metres before the sign on the right. Or she didn't want to stay in there. Who knows? It's probably more the cold rubber, because remember, it takes sort of a couple of laps to get temperature into this. A little bit of a lift, and then back on, and you're braking probably about a metre or two along that road on the right there that sort of crosses it. Again, be very careful there with throttle up here, braking where the line ends there, or where the road on the left starts. Try and straight line your entry here onto the straight. Car does want to go up near the wall, be careful. But you really want to have your wheel dead straight so you can get on the throttle, maximise your run. Because again, it's a straight. You can get an extra bit of a run down the straight. You know, it's going to equate to tenths. Alright, braking at the 2. We're going back to 3rd, and we're looking to try and put the car, sort of, the tyres on that white strip of concrete. So whether it be the left tyres or the right tyres, but we're really trying to maximise our exit out of the bus stop to take big advantage of this straight. But you can cut it, it's just about straight lining it. Alright. Now, as far as setup, I've gone with the VRS setup, though I have softened the front a little bit by one click of the springs, because I've found that he's been running a bit stiff in the front, and I was just finding it hard to get the car to turn in, so that's the only sort of change I've made. See if we can get the car to turn in a bit better this time. Yeah, look at that. And already that's sort of probably 3/10 there, just by getting that corner right. Okay, so you're lifting and getting back on it. And you're, again, braking in a straight line and sort of letting the road take you out there.
Sector 1 time is good.
Probably giving up a tenth or so there, but that's all right. So look, somewhere in the 148s for me. I would say the quick guys will be doing 46s. maybe even 45s in the dry. So again, see how I'm lining up the left tyres,
Do is a tenth off your best.
and then the right tyres on that white strip of concrete. Don't need to run quite as high this time because you want to maximise your momentum. Going up there is probably going to cost you a little bit of that. Stay tight, and again, just let it feed you back out near the wall here so you can keep the wheels straight and maximise that run. All right, let's bring it back around one more time, bring it into the pits, and then we'll go over to the wet version.
48.421. You just hit the fastest lap.
So you got to be careful there. Anytime you need to turn the car, you're applying brakes. So, you know, remember that sort of old adage of tying a string to the wheel to your foot. So the more you turn the wheel, the less brake you want to apply. But this car very much benefits from you sort of trailing deep into the corner, keeping the nose down so you can get it to turn in. She can be an understeery beast. We see there how I'm sort of braking in a straight line, but it's actually taking me to the outside of the track.
Sector 1 is 0.8. Slower
Can
than
cut
your
that
best.
inside there a little bit more. Oh, but see, that's what I always worry about, because you're applying the throttle as the car's sort of turning, and she wants to step out on you. And you can see already that this has put me like a second off now with that little mistake, or a couple of them there. And that's how easy it is around here. And then if you get it wrong, this big long straight, you're giving up time, and you're giving people a chance to have a go at you. All right. Remember, maximise this exit. That's what you want to do. All right, so coming around to the pit entry, and it's up here on the left. Again, we're staying tight. We're waiting for the road to level out. And then we're going to cross over. And we're looking for the second kink in the white line. So right here.
Look out for the pit speed limit.
So that's your marker there that you're looking for. You can maybe again push it a couple of meters or a car length, but you know, you're risking the biscuit, as I always say.
3.
Hey Max, you having a stretch over there, buddy?
Right here.
Oh, we're going a bit too far. All right, well there is a quick look at Daytona Road in the dry.
Left front 95%. Right rear 93.
Okay, so you're talking about 2% a lap again. Looks like the rear's copping a bit more around here than the front, so that's going to be something where you're going to have to be maybe a bit careful on your throttle control. But let's seeing we're talking about throttle control, let's have a look at this place in the wet and see how diabolical it's going to be at night time too. Cheers. Well, howdy everyone, Cowy here. I'm back with the wet portion of this track guide. That looks like it's just stopped raining. Oh, maybe not. There is a 21% chance of rain in the Australian session. Oh, there we go. Started raining again.
Exit's clear. Don't cross the white line.
So it does make a different beast here driving this track in the rain, in the dark, because it's really hard to see the puddles. So you're almost expecting that, you know, most of the apexes here have got water. Oh, and you can see they're just trying to get the power down on cold tyres is an effort in itself. But definitely a different beast of a track in the wet, and those puddles are just so hard to see at sometimes. So you'll find yourself driving a lot more mid-track. I reckon I'm adding a couple of meters on the braking distances as well, and being very gentle on the throttle. We are on the VRS wet setup for this part of the track guide, though I have softened the front springs by 1 click. Now the setup is pretty stiff in the front, but it was just washing out a bit too much for me, so I've softened it a little bit. And, you know, again, in the wet, you sort of maybe bring in those brake markers on this track. forward maybe a metre or two. You can see there, you can use the curbs of the bus stop, but like anything, it's all about being off the off those inputs and coasting through it. I'm sure you're very minimalistic on your steering inputs and your throttle and your brake. All right. Now you can see there, the car just washed up to the wall without me even turning. So something to be aware of in the wet when you come out of that curb, you're going to wash up. All right, so we're braking probably 2 or 3 metres before the grass there. But it's pretty similar to the dry. Going back to second. Trying to get on here. Be careful of the curbs, of course. And we're looking to brake same as before, about where that sign is. Oh, we've gone a bit deep. Can we save it? No, we can't. Alright. Might keep going and see if we can get another lap out of it. See if we've got heat in the tyres, or almost. Maybe sit in behind, who's this in front of me? Yusheng. I don't think I've known this driver at all, so he's gone off. So we won't have to deal with him much anymore. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that it's so tricky in the wet. Any race, I think, in these cars is tricky in the wet, but especially when you're trying to find a bit of pace. And you can see that there's water out on the edge there where you'd normally use it in the dry. Where you'd cut this apex a little bit there, there's water there, so that's a puddle you've got to be careful of, because you're going to be on the throttle. And you'll see here, sort of stay low, because as I come out of here, the car's automatically going to wash up near the fence. Look at that. Oh, even to the point of scraping it. Alright, so you're braking probably a little bit before the two, but you can use these curves. Just make sure you're going straight when you do. Looks like I cut that one a bit too much.
Don't delete this lap, you've cut the track.
And if you get up high, that's probably where the track's a bit drier to start off with, where you can get on the throttle. But again, you want to come down, because you'll see again, once we get around this corner, the car starts to wash up automatically near the wall and almost floating up there. We're looking for the dry bits of the track. Oh, we'll be close to the grass there, don't want to be that close. We'll stay up the curbs this time. Again, mid-track. Smooth on the throttle. You see there where cold rubber, you wouldn't get away with that. All right, big lift. Just coast through the corner. And braking just as the two lines sort of converge. You can probably go a little bit deeper, but again, I think in these conditions you're better off braking a little bit earlier and coasting into the corner rather than attacking it too hard and losing grip. I think at the moment I've got down into the 57s in the wet. I'm not sure what a good time is for the fast guys, but I'd say they're probably going to be at least a couple of seconds quicker than me. Well, let's see if we can brake a little bit closer to the two. See, they're almost locked up. But again, see how I'm making sure the car's ultra straight through that whole section there. So you can use those curves, but you're basically trying to straight line it. Alright, so we might be on for a 56 at this rate. So there's probably a bit more time to be found out here. But, I mean, it looks like the rain has stopped, but the track is still pretty wet. So it's going to be an interesting race. I mean, as far as the changeover period you're looking for, as long as there's big rooster tails, there's no chance of going on dry. It's like, you need those rooster tails to be pretty much gone before you're going to go to a slick tyre around here. Alright. Okay, I'm just being a little bit careful because I went out there to see what it was like. Remember, the rubber's going to be out on the left when you're breaking into that corner there. So, you know, it looked like it had some okay grip. We'll try and be a bit more aggressive through here. But again, you can maybe brake deeper, but it's one of those corners that, oh, it's just so troublesome. 3D curb on the inside there, so you could probably use that a little. But again, you see there, you know, I'm sort of skating as I turn into that corner and applying the throttle. But as you always, we'll bring the third lap around into the pits. And we'll try and see if we can push this brake marker a little bit more. So we're getting all right there.
Your quickest overall.
Oh, she floated wide on me then. Gave up a bit of time. All right. When we get around this corner, run across, down over the line. And we're basically looking for that second kink there.
What's your speed limit in the
You can
pits?
maybe go a bit more aggressive, but again, as I've said before, I'd rather give up a second there on entry, especially in the wet, than pushing that a bit too deep. But normally in the dry, you're looking for that second white kink there, so maybe I wasn't carrying, or we did pull it up. Okay, that is interesting to know
Left
there
front,
too,
98%. Rear right, 95.
that there was a couple of points of damage there, so a bit more rare in the rear than the fronts. But perhaps, you know, again, maybe we're bottoming out a little bit, or you know, kicking up a bit of crap into the car and doing a little bit of damage. So just something to be aware of. If you soften the car up too much, you might find you start doing damage to the front spoiler. Anyway, guys, I hope you're enjoying the track guides. Daytona, pretty tricky. In actual fact, I'm recording this section first, and I'll record the drive section next and put it on the front of this video. But, yeah, when I jumped in to do some practice tonight and saw it was a wet session, I'd take advantage of it. But thanks very much for watching. Of course, subscribe and give me a like if you haven't already done so. That would be awesome. But this is Cowy, Average Sim Racer, signing off. We'll see you all next time. Cheers.